Interviews with the best in their fields, teaching you how to excel in careers that don't require traditional college. You're listening to the College Alternative Podcast. Insider tips and advice, straight from the experts. And now, here is your host, James Christian.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the College Alternative Podcast, the podcast that shows you how to excel in careers that don't require traditional college. So today we're talking with Ladd Hall. He works for Western Precision Rifles based out of Sierra Vista, Arizona. These guys produce some of the best long-distance rifles in the nation, if not the world. And they're also some of the best long-distance shooters out there. These guys are really awesome, really hilarious, and very, very passionate about their work. So Ladd is going to be talking about how he has persisted in developing his business and how his passion for long-distance shooting and hunting have really driven him to succeed in this industry. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening, guys. Hello and welcome to the College Alternative Podcast, the podcast that teaches you how to excel in careers that don't require traditional college. Today we have with us Ladd Hall, and he's the co-owner of Western Precision Rifles based out of Sierra Vista, Arizona.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. No worries.
I can't say I've ever done one of these. This is a first for me, so this ought to be a good experience.
Hey, no worries, brother. I know that I caught you in the middle of probably 10 other things that you're trying to get accomplished this evening, so I do appreciate you taking the time, dude.
Oh, no problem. No problem at all. It's good to get this information out there and see if we can help some people that are trying to find a career or find their path in life. Any way we can do that, it's good enough for me.
So you guys, I would say, probably pump out some of the best rifles in the nation. What do you guys do here? What's your company known for?
Well, basically, what we do in these rifles, and I have to back up a little bit as far as ownership of the company. Brent Jacob is the actual owner of Western Precision Rifles. I'm a partner with him in the deal. I don't know if I'd call myself a co-owner or not. We do a lot of work together and to make this whole program work with what we've done. But what we do and what we've done, how this all got started, we do a lot of hunting here in southern Arizona, where the terrain is real rugged, vast open terrain, where a lot of shots at some of these game animals are very, very long shots. And to make certain shots like that, we found that we need a very precise rifle to make good, clean, humane kills at these long distances we're shooting. So Brent got into rifle building, which I had always was aspiring to learn to do. I always wanted to learn how to build custom rifles. It's a market that it's hard to get into because most gunsmiths don't really want to share their craft. Don't want to teach too many people how to do it. You can go to certain schools. For example, there's a school in Trinidad, Colorado, a good gunsmithing school, as an option. And I think a lot of their classes are just a week or two long for certain aspects of gunsmithing. But Brent started to build rifles. What I started doing before any of this ever happened, years before any of this ever happened, in high school, I really became interested in precision long-range shooting. And that interest drove me to start studying it and learning it and more. And it was just a personal passion, a personal interest that kept me just wanting more and more information. So for me, what I did was I started to just get online and study and Google and look things up and do what I could to learn more and more about the actual science of ballistics and long-range shooting. And the more I learned, and eventually it got to where I figured out how to do a lot of these things that people would consider magic or voodoo or how it all works. It's all information that you can find if you want to look for it, and if you can differentiate between good information and bad information. One of the worst parts about trying to learn, a craft or learn information like that, especially getting on the internet, there is a lot of bad information out there. And one of the hurdles I had to go through, because I started really studying the science of ballistics probably 17 years ago. And so I had to go through all those hurdles of, you take in some bad information that you don't realize is bad information, and you've got to learn after you go out there and experiment with it and do it that was bad information. So it took years and years and years to figure out what's good information, what's bad information. But through the years of studying the science of ballistics, that's really brought the shooting game, to a whole nother realm for us. And that accompanied with Brent learning how to build custom rifles, and then I started teaming up with Brent. I learned how to build them myself. So now with the combination of the precise rifles that are being built and the good science of ballistics and good load development, it's unbelievable what we're doing with these guns now. We put on long-range shooting courses for people that are interested in learning how to shoot long-range, and they're usually 2-day courses. And on the second day of the course, everybody will get to shoot out between 1,700 and 2,000 yards, distances like that. And we're not talking, with 50 calibers. We're talking about with regular hunting style calibers like 7 millimeters and 6.5s and good hunting calibers. So it's really neat how it's all come together. And it has taken years and years to make it right and make it an amazing product and an amazing weapon system. But it's just through the teamwork of having good, solid rifles and a great knowledge of ballistics and how it all works that's really brought the company to where it is.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting, too. I know that Mike Rowe was talking a while back about how, and maybe I'm misinterpreting what he's saying here, but, it's not necessarily finding a passion and sticking with that passion. It's finding what people want. But I would say for you, this is your passion. Shooting and producing good quality products is your passion. I think passions are what drive us and challenge us to push our limits here. And I think that's exactly what's happened with you guys, right?
I think that you're absolutely right. And I think a little bit of it was luck. We were lucky that our passion and our interest was something that could become very lucrative. When I first started really studying ballistics, I was doing it for myself, and my friends and family to help them as they hunted and learned how to shoot like that. So there was in the beginnings of all this, I never had the thoughts that it would turn into what it has. But to see where it's come and actually see where all that time I spent studying and putting it into action has really started to pay off, and people are coming to us and learning and seeing the results it's amazing. So I think a lot of it was luck. A true entrepreneur would look for certain situations like that to get into would think, what's a need that I need to fulfill, and how can I fulfill that need? Where we actually just kind of lucked into it. It was something we were passionate about. We wanted to do it, and it turned out that our passion was something that people need and people want, and so it's turned into a heck of a business.
And just recently, hasn't it really started taking off? You've actually started getting on a TV show here too. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
There's actually there's a handful of television shows that you'll see on cable right now. A lot of the guns that we've built over the last few years have ended up on the Outdoor Channel, the Sportsman's Channel, certain hunting channels that you'd have to be looking for it. But a lot of these guys are using our rifles on these hunting shows. There was a show on the Sportsman's Channel called Team Darkhorn, and that was a show they were exclusively used our rifles for all their hunts. So that was good for us, and once that hit television and we had to make a commercial for all that, that really helped a lot, and we started getting that's when we started getting phone calls from all over the nation, was when that television show started to air. And recently, we just got done filming another television show. It's season 2 of Long Range Reality, which, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be on the Outdoor Channel, and it should start airing between January and like June, July of this coming year. And that's based off of about 10 teams that we went up, and it was pretty difficult, and a lot of time went into it, but I had to fly to Washington State about twice a month, and we went up there, myself and Brent, and shot in some long-range shooting competitions. A lot of these competitions were very big competitions, anywhere from 70, 80 shooters to a couple hundred shooters in these competitions, and the show's based off of these 10 teams that competed not only against each other, but against, the other 100, 200 shooters. So that was a great experience, and it was able to show us that a lot of the things we're doing are good and are right. And the ballistics information we're using, and the guns are just top notch. Because I can't really talk about exact results or anything. We did very, very well in that show. So it was nice, and it was good feedback for us. And it just makes us feel better after going to something like that and shooting against some amazing shooters and doing as well as we did, to tell us that we are doing things right. And the information that we're giving to people and through our class and stuff is good information. It teaches people a lot, and we're doing things properly with good equipment and good knowledge. So that's been something. And it's also another thing that when we go to our classes and teach these people all the ballistics and stuff, it's really fulfilling. I know for me to see people that they've hunted or shot their whole lives, and you lay them down behind a rifle when you teach them, and you watch somebody make a shot, at 17, 18, 1900 yards and hit what they're shooting at on the first shot, and watch them light up like a little kid on Christmas morning. That's fulfilling to me, to see people get that kind of enjoyment, because that's the same kind of enjoyment I get out of it. But that was something that, we get that kind of feedback through our clients, through our students, and also through those television shows that we got to go on and see how well we did against those, and get to see, other people use our guns and in these outdoor hunting channels and be very successful at some pretty extreme ranges. So it does make you feel good that you're not just putting out a sloppy product and you're doing a good job and you're helping people. So that's always good for us.
And I think that's always important too, because it's not just having the passion yourself. I think being able to have a successful business is being able to transfer that passion to your clients, but I'm really excited to watch this TV show. I might have to renew my cable just to be able to watch this, just from the stories that you're telling about. You're the only ones out there not wearing camo, and you're joking around with all the judges and stuff. But that sounds awesome, man.
Well, that was kind of an experience with this long range shooting show. It was kind of funny because we don't take ourselves too seriously. In fact, we like to have a real good time, and to go up there and compete at the level of these competitions and see some of these people that were taking it very, very seriously. And it kind of just made us chuckle that, it'd show up and people would be dressed up like we were clearing houses in Afghanistan. And I would make some jokes with them like, hey, these steel targets don't shoot back, right? You have nothing to worry about. Why are you wearing a Kevlar vest and a helmet, But it was a great experience. We met some pretty amazing people and got to shoot against some phenomenal shooters. So it should be a pretty good show. I'm excited to watch it myself, except it'll be embarrassing watching myself on TV. I never thought there would be on a reality TV show, so I'm a little bit ashamed of that, but it should still be a pretty good show.
That's pretty awesome, man. But it seems like, okay, so you're doing this for a number of years, and it seems like it's starting to snowball, starting to pick up more and more steam here. But when you first started out, how'd you know that there was going to be a market for it? Did you just sort of take it up as a passion and just lucked into it, or did you know that there was going to be somebody out there willing to buy your product?
Well, and like I said earlier, a lot of it, I think, was luck, because when we first started doing this, it wasn't in our minds. We didn't start doing it because we wanted to make a lot of money off of it. We started doing it because we wanted to have better rifles. We want it for ourselves and our hunting, because that's our passion in life is hunting, and mine being ballistics and long range shooting, precision. And so we did this to really help ourselves and make ourselves better, and just because we really loved it. And we knew that it would sell rifles. And just like anything else, it started out slow. First you get, because you got to have a product before you can really start to build steam. So to do that, we started first, we build rifles for close friends, people that believed in us when no one else even knew who we were, So we started building rifles for friends. And then as you do that, that friend, you give him a rifle that just shoots unbelievably. He tells his friends, and then the next person tells their friends. And pretty soon you're getting a phone call from a guy that knows this guy and that guy, and pretty soon it just starts, like you said, the snowball effect, and it grew to something we never really knew it was going to grow into, which now it's actually becoming a I don't want to say a household name. That's pretty big, but across the nation in the realm of hunting, it is becoming a name. And I knew it was becoming a name when I had to call Remington one day. There was a rifle I was working on for a guy, and I needed to call Remington about something. And the guy on the other line picked up the phone, and I introduced myself. I said, "Hey, I'm Lad Hall with Western Precision Rifles." And the guy said, "Oh, I know who you guys are." And that really meant something to me,
Yeah.
A guy in Remington working on guns knew who we were, and that to me was, I thought, wow, that's actually pretty impressive, But that was exciting to me to know that we do have a good reputation, and that's very important. When you get online and you read people's, people are always online giving feedback or writing things about, their products and stuff, and we do have a good reputation with good rifles and the classes and all that stuff. So that's very important, that if you're going to have a product, you want to make it a good product, or as good as you can possibly make it, and keep customers happy. So it's nice to see that our clients are happy clients, and they keep telling their friends about us, and it just keeps snowballing, like you said. And really from here, I don't see it going anywhere but bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. I think only those businesses that forget pushing out good products are the only ones that fail, after a long period of time. I think so long as a company is always pushing good quality products above all else, I think that they only grow bigger. So that's cool. But when you guys...
And actually along those...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was going to say, along those lines, I remember once this started growing big enough that we thought, man, this is getting busy. It's getting busier and busier. We had some serious talks about that, because what we didn't want to do, and what happens to a lot of companies, is as they grow, they go from making a good product, to when they become mass produced, as demand starts to overwhelm them and they start mass producing products, well, the quality goes down. Quantity goes up, quality goes down. And that's one thing we definitely didn't want to do, so we decided we were going to limit ourselves to, hey, we're only going to build this many rifles a year, because the last thing we want to do is lower our quality to up quantity. And so that was some serious talks we had about, hey, how many can we build a year so we don't lose quality? We want quality over quantity. So it definitely limits us. We don't turn out, hundreds and hundreds of rifles a year, but the ones we do turn out are excellent rifles, because every gun we build, there's a lot of hands-on attention to detail with that rifle. We don't just build a gun and hand it to somebody and say, good luck. Every single gun we build, we do load development for, because what we guarantee in a rifle is 1/4 minute of angle rifles, which is pretty unbelievable. And so you have to, one, have a great rifle, and two, have good ammunition tuned to that rifle to make that possible. So the process of doing load development for a rifle is time consuming. It takes a lot of our time, but when we hand a client a rifle, it is awesome. I mean, it is ready to go, and it's unbelievable. The only caveat to that is, unfortunately, 90% of Americans don't shoot worth a darn. So you get a lot of people that you give them a gun that's capable of the world, and because their capabilities aren't very high, they end up thinking that the gun isn't as good. In fact, case in point, we had a gentleman in Texas that ordered a rifle. The rifle we built him was a 300 Norma. The gun shot unbelievably. I mean, we just put bullets in the same bullet hole over and over. Sent him the rifle with his ammunition, and he calls us back, and he says, hey, I can't get this gun to shoot 1.5-inch groups at 100 yards. I'm like, wow, okay. Well, man, I remember that rifle. That rifle shot unbelievable. So I said, no problem. Send it back. Send us your ammunition. We'll make sure it's taken care of. He sent us the gun back, sent us the same box of ammunition we sent him. We ran it right out to the range, and the first 3 rounds out of the gun went in the same bullet hole. And so we didn't know it's hard to tell somebody that, hey, you don't shoot very well, because some people don't take that very well. But but that happens a lot. So that's one difficult part about, especially being in the custom rifle business and guaranteeing a certain level of precision, to where most people won't blame themselves. They blame the weapon every time. So that can be a hurdle for us sometimes, but it's nothing you can't overcome. It's just, sometimes it's very humbling for people when they shoot a horrible group and then you get right behind the same gun they just did and show them that the gun shoots great. So, but that's something we have to work through sometimes. But when the quality is there, you don't have to worry about that. And that's kind of what we pride ourselves on. We don't build thousands and thousands of guns, but when we do finish a gun and hand it to somebody, it is unbelievable.
Yeah, and when you guys are first starting out here, before you started getting bigger, and you're only building a couple guns for friends and family, how did you guys manage the risk, financial risk, the investment side of the house when you guys were initially setting up here?
Well, at first, and I want to say, because my partner Brent, he had most of the risk, and the reason, because he started the business, and that's what he wanted to make that his full-time job. And he was working, he had a full-time job already, so this was kind of something he was doing on the side. And so it started as, hey, this is just something for fun, maybe make a little bit of money here and there, that got big enough to where now that it is his full-time job, which is a risk all in itself, having to count on, especially in the gun business, however many orders you get is what you're going to live off of, and you can have slow months, you can have fast months, it just depends. So he's taken a lot of the risks, but as far as financial stuff, once the name got out there, and once the people saw that the product was what we claim, people started to come to us and want to invest in the company. Mm-hmm. And so once we had that's a way that now we can start to develop an inventory, because it's really become, and I don't want to say that, everything's hard work, but the product has been good enough that people come find us now. And I say that as humbly as I can. But at first, like the first year or two, we'd go to the SHOT Show, nobody knew who any of us were, which was totally fine with us, no problem. We didn't expect anything more than that. And as these television shows came out, and as more and more people have shot the guns and talked to their friends, now we'll be at the SHOT Shows and people will come to us, and come seek us out and find us, and it just shows how good the product is, and people are coming to us wanting to invest in the company and wanting to help out. In fact, we're about to kick off we're going to be part of now a huge shooting resort in Colorado, which is going to cause more traveling for me and Brent, because we're going to have to probably go to Colorado every couple of weeks, and we're going to put on training classes. So myself, Brent's going to be the coordinator of the whole program, and I'm going to be the lead instructor. And we've got some people that are financing some of that, but that's going to be a big deal. It's going to be, world class. This is an actual resort that people can come, they can stay, and got awesome lodging and food and all this stuff. And then we take them and they go through our classes, and we'll take them out and shoot and just have a heck of a good time. So that's something that's been brought to us through people that have seen the product, that say, hey, you guys really need to do this. You need to train people. You need to come out and make this big. So through those people that have decided that they want to invest, we've gotten now an opportunity to go train people at this shooting resort in Colorado. So, and all the paperwork and stuff's being worked out with that right now. So at a later time, when that's all, contracts are signed and everything, we can probably divulge the name of it and go further into that. But that's here on the very near future, in the horizon. That's being worked out right now.
That is pretty awesome, though. No one's complaining about going up to Colorado for a couple weeks, though. But that's not bad. Yeah. But so you've been doing, like I said, you've been doing this for a number of years. What was the turning point that you felt like, yeah, this is going to be successful? Yes, you're going to be able to make this successful financially. You're going to get enough orders in. At what point did you feel as though was there a turning point, or was it just sort of a gradual realization that yes, this is going to be a successful business for you?
It was definitely at the beginning. It was very slow, very gradual, and then once people started approaching us and wanted it for their television shows, and when it started hitting TV like it did, that's when we kind of finally realized, like, wow, this is going to be big. Now that this is now nationwide on television, and it proved to be, because every single time one of those shows would air, the phones would just start ringing from people all over the nation that want rifles. So once it started hitting TV, that's when we finally realized, like, wow, this is really going to get big. And I think that's when Brent finally said, I'm going to do this full time. And that's what he does, is full time. I still do it. I do a lot of rifle work, but my primary, I work for the fire department. I'm a paramedic. Also work on the SWAT team here as a paramedic. So there's several things I do. And even though my passion is working on guns, it's still kind of part-time for me. I do it when I can. I do it a lot. It makes me very, very busy. But once it all hit television and we started getting so many orders, that's when Brent said he was just going to do that full-time. And so I think we thought it had potential to be big, but once we started seeing it on television shows and getting all those phone calls, that's when we finally realized, like, wow, this is going to get big. No, whether we like it or not, here it comes. We just got to be ready for it.
Yeah. And so when you guys were initially starting out here, what was the type of perseverance that you had to have in sticking with it versus kind of the perseverance you have to have now? Because you're holding what? You're a paramedic with the SWAT, you're a paramedic on the fire department, you guide hunts, you do this, and plus you're a family man as well. So, you got a ton of stuff going on here. So what kind of perseverance did you have to have, and is it different for both?
When we first started, and it is very, if you're going to persevere, a lot of times what I've seen, especially now that a lot of these people we deal with through the rifle business and a lot of people that approach us are very successful businessmen. And you see a lot of people that are successful because they enjoy what they're doing. And I want to say that, well, I know for a fact that's why our product is the way it is because we truly enjoy what we're doing. So even though we work extremely hard at it and a lot of our time goes into it, it's almost not like it's work because we enjoy it so much. So I would say to anybody that's looking to, start a business or just trying to look into the future at what they're trying to do or what they're wanting to do, is try to find something that you actually care about. Because if you find something that you actually care about, then it's never like you're truly working. Even though you're working very, very hard at it, it's like you're not really working. I know that I work really hard at all this gun stuff, but you can't keep me out of the shop, really. And I know it's work, but it doesn't feel like work. I come home from my regular job and I go straight to the shop and I start working. And the day goes by so fast because I enjoy what I'm doing. And there's a lot of different career opportunities out there that are careers that you can enjoy. And I lucked out, for one, I love working on these rifles. I love the ballistics. So that to me is enjoyable. And also for the fire department, being a paramedic, I love that job. It's a great job. You get to help people. I enjoy medicine. So I really have gotten involved in things that I truly enjoy. And when it's something you enjoy, you never feel like you're going to work. And two, you're going to be good at it because you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, if you don't have any passion, you may just go through the motions and just do what you got to do to get by. I know if I didn't enjoy working on these guns like I did, I would not spend near the amount of time in the shop as I do working on it because I just wouldn't care. But I care so much about it, you can't keep me out of the shop, which drives my wife crazy because she wants me to sit there and watch shows like The Bachelor with her. But trust me, I'd rather be in the garage or in the shop than watching The Bachelor. So I spend most of my time, and it's just because I care so much about it. I'm passionate about it. So if people think long and hard about what they truly like or what they're driven in, there's all kinds of different opportunities out there. that you can succeed at. But I think one of the big keys to success is enjoying what you do. So I mean, for a lot of people out there looking, I do some soul searching and see what they'd like to get into. Well, it's just like the fire department. I really enjoy that job, and I never knew I wanted to work in that job. And just a little tidbit of information, when I was actually in college at the time, I played baseball, and we were at a baseball tournament in Tucson, and we were at this hotel, and I actually walked out of my room and just the wrong place, wrong time, and there was some random people a couple doors down. I didn't know any of them or anything like that, and I walked out of the room right as a guy got shot, and he was shot right in the chest. And so everyone ran, and I walked right over to the guy and tried to help him, and I didn't have the training, obviously, that I do now, but I knew what I had seen in the movies, so I'm like, oh, hold pressure here, whatever, do that. And I remember just being very calm about it. And it didn't bother me or anything like that. I was real calm. And in fact, afterward, I was almost excited about, like, wow, that was amazing. I could do that. And after doing some thinking, I thought, the fire department, I think I would love that job. And the more I looked into it, the more I thought, yeah, that's for me. And to this day, and I've worked in the fire department now for about 10 years, and just the same thing. When it's something you enjoy, you never actually feel like you're working. I'll wake up in the morning to go to work, and to this day, I haven't woke up yet and be like, man, I just don't want to go to work, because I enjoy it. And I think that's one of the biggest keys to being really good at what you do and being successful at what you do, is to find something that you have that kind of passion for, that kind of drive, or something that you enjoy doing. And there's plenty of things out there. I mean, there's millions and millions of jobs or things that you can do that fall under something you are good at, or something you're driven toward, or something you enjoy. And I think that's a huge key to success.
Mm-hmm. So as everybody else is running away from the scene, you decide to go in.
Well, the bad part, like I say, with the, especially EMS, and over the years, I really liked emergency medical. And you get to where you really like, the worse the call is, the better. And I'm not saying that I wish no ill will for anybody, but if it's going to happen, I want to be there. You know what I mean? I don't know if that sounds bad or not.
No, I think that's everybody's medical, it's like, oh, the traffic accident. I was able to do this and this and this to this guy. That's pretty, no, I think everybody's like that. But as far as the passions are concerned, the perseverance, it seems like no matter kind of what obstacle comes up, I think you're able to overcome anything, as far as time is concerned. Can you talk a little bit about that? Were there any obstacles that came up, and how were you able to overcome any of those, any difficulties that you had with this job, with your business?
Difficulties, all the difficulties usually came with time or distance. It was very difficult at first, because when I first, obviously I had been studying ballistics for a long, long time, so I kind of had that figured out. But what I wanted to learn next was how to build these guns. So I would spend a lot of time driving back and forth. Brent lives a couple hours from me, but every day I could get a chance, I'd have to drive back and forth, and that's a lot of time. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of things just to go learn a craft. But it came down to, again, perseverance and a true drive that I just wanted to learn it so bad. They're just willing to do anything that I could do to get this done. And it's just the same as, for this TV show, this long-range reality TV show that we just got done with. That was a lot of time, and that was very difficult to get on a plane about every 2 weeks and go to Washington for about 4 days at a time. I had to take a lot of leave from work, a lot of time away from my family, and that was not easy. But we knew that, hey, this is going to be a great test for us to see what we can do, what these guns can do. This is going to be great for the company, for the business, and it's another way to get our name out there. So we did it. And even though by the end of the show we were like, man, I'm so ready to be done with this show, we just persevered. We got through it. We worked through it. Did what we had to do to make it happen, and we've gotten through it. So it's just any of those roadblocks. And there's going to be roadblocks. There's always roadblocks in whatever you do, but there's always ways around those roadblocks or over those roadblocks to get done what you need to get done. So anybody that's striving to become something or look, I mean, expect that there's going to be some hard times. Expect that there's going to be some roadblocks. It's not going to be easy. You can ask anybody that's ever been successful, and they'll tell you that it was not easy. Getting to where they got was not easy, but they didn't give up. You know, one of the biggest things about any of this is not quitting, not giving up. You know, so just keep your mind where it needs to be and work your way through these problems, and man, the sky's the limit. And especially if it's something you enjoy and something you want to do, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, I think when they see, like, take for instance you, or, you know, somebody like, heck, even like Bill Gates or something like that, and they see, hey, this person's blank, 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 this successful, and they're seeing you maybe further down the road than they are. You know, they're just starting out in that first step, and you're maybe 20 miles ahead of them. You know, they don't realize how much literal time and effort and stress that you've done, and they just think that, hey, this guy just got it handed on to him on a silver platter, you know. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's important, that everyone experiences difficulties.
It does, and even, you know, I know some people definitely make it look easier than others, and part of that is just an overall outlook on life and a mentality that certain people have, but everybody, especially people that are successful, for the most part, didn't have it handed to them and have had to work very hard for it. I know this journey that I've been on with Brent for the guns has been, for about the last 8 years we've been doing it. So, and just in the last probably 2 years, it's really starting to take off. So, I mean, 7 years of real hard work, and it's finally starting to show, you know, where it's headed and where it's going. And plenty of times we could have said, you know, we're done with this, or let's not worry about it, especially for Brent early on, you know, having to work his way through it when business wasn't so great. It would have been easy to say, you know what, I'm going to just go out and get a regular job and just do this again for my friends and family, whatever. But instead, knowing this is what we really wanted to do, and just persevere and make it happen, and it's worked out, and it's grown to something that I never thought it would grow into years ago, and it's to the point now where I don't know where it's going to go, and I don't know how big it's going to get, and it's opening all kinds of doors for us, just like some of these training opportunities, and possibly getting to go start training some law enforcement agencies and maybe even some of our military. You know, some of these doors are starting to open for us, so I really don't know where it's going to go. I know it's going to lead to has the potential to lead to some very good things, so it's pretty exciting, you know, if you think about it.
But that's only because, you know, of persistence, you know, after 6 years of persisting through, you know, slogging through it. And now
absolutely.
It's finally starting to come together, which is awesome, man. Well, that you know, I'm really happy for you about all this. But okay, cool. Well, I guess we'll wrap it up, lad. Do you want to mention anything or have people visit a particular website to check you guys out?
Well, you know, if anybody ever needs any work, either if they want a custom gun built, another thing that we also do is we do a lot of work to factory rifles, you know, bedding and floating, trigger jobs, custom load development, ballistics, all this different things. If anyone's ever interested in anything like that from us, or ever just wants to come out and hang out and do some shooting with us, they can find us either by you can Google Western Precision Rifles. I know there's also a Facebook page. I'm not a Facebooker, but I guess there's probably a search engine there. If you just type in Western Precision, we'll come up. I know we also have an Instagram page, and just again, Western Precision. And I personally have an Instagram page, even though I didn't set it up myself. Like I said, I'm not a big social media guy, but if you just Instagram Lad Hall, you should be able to find it. I'll be there. So if anyone ever needs anything, there's ways to find us. Just look us up. Feel free to call us, and we're always available. So if you need us, give us a call.
Okay, cool. Thanks again, man, for sitting down and talking with us. And for all you guys listening out there, it's important, man. Target those passions and persist through all the difficulties out there. Slog through it sometimes. It's not always going to be easy, but keep on going with it. And if you truly believe in it, it will start breaking through and you will get success. So thanks a lot, guys, for listening. So thanks for listening, guys. Hopefully you liked the interview with Ladd Hall. He is truly one of those guys that's passionate about his work, and he has really persisted through the years to develop a really great quality product. So if you like them, check out Western Precision Rifles. And also, if you like the interview, like us, subscribe, and also check us out at collegealternative.net. There we have plenty of other podcasts for you to listen to, and we're adding to them every single week. So, check you guys later. Talk with you next week.